said he was a joke. A manager who got relegated with Burnley. A desperate appointment by a club in crisis. But then Vincent Kompany walked into Bayern Munich and did something nobody expected. 20 matches unbeaten, 56 goals scored, the most dominant start to a Bundesliga season in history, and a tactical system so aggressive, so relentless, that teams don't even know what hit them until it's too late. This isn't just a good Bayern team, this is a machine, a monster, a team that's playing football from the future. So just how terrifying is this new Bayern Munich? Stay with me, because what Kompany has built might be the scariest team in world football right now. But before we get into the madness, you need to understand where Bayern were just a year ago. The 2023-24 season was a disaster. For the first time in 12 years, Bayern Munich didn't win the Bundesliga. They finished third, behind Bayer Leverkusen and Stuttgart. A club that had dominated German football for over a decade was suddenly looking vulnerable. Thomas Tuchel was the manager, and by the end, nobody wanted him there. Not the players, not the board, not the fans. The football was boring, predictable, lifeless. Bayern needed a change. They needed someone who could bring back the intensity, the hunger, the fear factor that made Bayern Munich the most dominant club in Europe. But when they announced Vincent Kompany as the new manager, people laughed. This was the guy who just got Burnley relegated from the Premier League, 0 wins in his final 10 matches, a team that looked completely lost. The media called it a panic appointment, fans were furious, and everyone predicted disaster. But here's what nobody understood. Vincent Kompany wasn't the problem at Burnley, the squad was. He didn't have the players to execute his vision. He was trying to play possession football with a championship level team in the Premier League. But at Bayern Munich, he's got world-class players in every position. And when you give Kompany that kind of talent, he doesn't just build a good team, he builds a monster. Let's talk about how Kompany actually got this job, because it wasn't his first choice, and it wasn't Bayern's either. After Tuchel's departure, Bayern went after the big names. Xabi Alonso was the dream, the man who just led Leverkusen to an unbeaten season and destroyed Bayern's Bundesliga dominance. But Alonso said no, he wanted to stay at Leverkusen for one more year. Then Bayern tried for Julian Nagelsmann, the former Bayern manager who was now coaching the German national team. But Nagelsmann also said no, he was committed to Germany through the Euros. Bayern were running out of options, and that's when Max Eberl, Bayern's sporting director, made a bold call. He picked up the phone and called Vincent Kompany. Now, Eberl had been watching Kompany for years. He'd seen what he did at Anderlecht, leading them to a Belgian title with attacking, possession-based football. He'd seen what he tried to do at Burnley, even if the results didn't show it. And Eberl believed. He believed that Kompany's philosophy was perfect for Bayern. He believed that with the right players, Kompany could build something special. So Bayern made the call, and Kompany didn't hesitate. This was his dream job, the chance to manage one of the biggest clubs in the world, the chance to prove that his vision could work at the highest level. But when he arrived at Bayern's training ground in July 2024, he knew he had a massive job ahead of him. The players were demoralized, the tactics were outdated, and the mentality was soft. Kompany's first speech to the squad was simple. We're going to press like maniacs. We're going to dominate possession, and we're going to score goals for fun. If you can't handle that, you can leave. Nobody left, and what happened next was a complete transformation. Let's break down Kompany's tactical system, because this isn't just a formation, it's a philosophy, a way of playing that's completely different from anything Bayern have done in recent years. The base formation is a 4-2-3-1, but that's just on paper. In reality, Bayern's shape is constantly shifting. Depending on the phase of play, it can become a 2-4-4, a 3-2-5, or even a 4-3-3. Let me explain. When Bayern build from the back, the two fullbacks push extremely high. They don't just overlap, they become wingers. This creates a 2-4-4 shape. 2 center backs, 4 midfielders, 4 attackers. The 2 holding midfielders, usually Joshua Kimmich and Alexander Pavlovich, drop between the center backs to form a back 3. This gives Bayern numerical superiority when building out from the back. But here's where it gets genius. When teams press Bayern high, the fullbacks don't drop back. They stay high. This forces the opposition to commit more players forward, which opens up space in behind. And when Bayern win the ball back, they immediately transition into attack. The fullbacks are already in advanced positions. The wingers cut inside. The number 10 drops deep to receive. And suddenly, Bayern have 6 or 7 players flooding the opposition's box. Did you know? Kompany insisted on transforming his teams teams into the highest pressing sides in their leagues. At Burnley FC in 2022 to 2023, his squad recorded the lowest PPDA, passes allowed per defensive action, in the entire championship, which is a clear marker of his aggressive, risk-oriented philosophy. But the real genius of Kompany's system is the pressing. Bayern don't just press high, they press with intelligence. They press with coordination. They press like a pack of wolves. The moment Bayern lose the ball, all 11 players immediately swarm the opponent. They close down passing lanes, they force mistakes, and they win the ball back within seconds. This is called the 6-second rule. If Bayern don't win the ball back within 6 seconds of losing it, they drop into a compact shape and reset. But most of the time, they win it back. And when they do, the opposition is completely out of position. Against Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League, Kompany's pressing reached a new level of sophistication. Bayern didn't just press high, they pressed with man-to-man intensity that PSG had never experienced before. Harry Kane pressed Marquinhos directly. The wingers matched up with PSG's wingbacks. And at times, Bayern's center backs pushed so high up the pitch they were practically in PSG's box. The result, PSG couldn't even complete their usual build-up patterns. They were suffocated, strangled, and Bayern scored twice in the first half. Against Club Brugge, it was total domination. Bayern held 63% possession, they completed 680 passes, and they limited Brugge to just 5 shots all game. 5. Brugge's expected goals, 0.25. That's not a typo. Bayern's pressing was so effective that Brugge couldn't create a single dangerous chance. This isn't just good pressing. This is suffocating, relentless, terrifying pressing, and it's making Bayern impossible to play against. But tactics alone don't win titles. You need mentality, you need hunger, you need a team that refuses to lose. And that's where Kompany has made the biggest difference. He didn't just change the system, he changed the culture. Under Tuchel, Bayern were soft. When they went 1-0 down, they panicked. When they faced adversity, they crumbled. And when they played big teams, they looked scared. But Kompany changed that. From day one, he demanded intensity, he demanded aggression, he demanded that every single player give everything in every single training session. Players who didn't meet his standards, benched. Players who complained, ignored. Kompany made it clear, if you want to play for Bayern Munich, you have to earn it. And the players responded. Konrad Laimer, at 28 years old, is having the most sprints in Bundesliga. Joshua Kimmich is playing with a fire that's been missing for years. And Harry Kane, he's scoring goals at a rate that's almost inhuman. But the biggest change is in the young players. Jamal Musiala, Alphonso Davies, and Alexander Pavlovich. These guys were talented before, but under Kompany, they've become world class. But the biggest change is in the new signings. Luis Díaz, who arrived from Liverpool in the summer, has been a revelation. The Colombian winger has seamlessly adapted to Kompany's system, bringing pace, directness, and an eye for goal that's made Bayern's attack even more lethal. Díaz is playing on the left wing, and he's been unstoppable. Against PSG, he scored twice with clinical finishes, and against Köln, he was man of the match, terrorizing their defense with his explosive runs and clever movement. What makes Díaz so dangerous in Kompany's system is his versatility. He can stay wide and stretch defenses. He can cut inside and shoot with power, and he can drop deep to link play. Defenders never know what's coming, and by the time they figure it out, it's too late. And Pavlovich, this 21-year-old kid, is playing like a seasoned veteran. He's calm under pressure. He's winning tackles. He's dictating tempo. Kompany called it months ago. He's going to be one of the best midfielders in the world, and he's proving it. This isn't the same Bayern team that finished third last season. This is a team that's hungry, confident, ruthless, and they're playing with a belief that they can beat anyone. Let's talk about the players, because Bayern's squad right now is absolutely stacked. In goal, Manuel Neuer is still the boss. At 39 years old, he's still making world-class saves, still commanding his box, still organizing the defense. He's a legend, and he's showing no signs of slowing down. The defense is rock solid. Dayot Upamecano and Jonathan Tah have formed one of the best center-back partnerships in Europe. Upamecano is fast, aggressive, dominant in the air, and Tah is calm, composed, excellent on the ball. At fullback, Stanisic on the left and Konrad Laimer on the right are perfect for Kompany's system. They're constantly pushing forward, constantly creating overloads, and constantly making life hell for opposing wingers. In midfield, Joshua Kimmich is the conductor. Everything Bayern do runs through him. His passing range is world class, his vision is second to none, and his leadership is invaluable. Next to him, Alexander Pavlovich is the perfect partner. He's the destroyer, the ball winner, the guy who does the dirty work so Kimmich can create. And then there's Leon Goretzka. When he's fit, he's a beast. He brings physicality, power, and those late runs into the box that have become his trademark. But the real magic happens in attack, and this is where Bayern are absolutely terrifying. On the left wing, Luis Díaz is playing the best football of his career. He's direct, he's explosive, he's constantly running at defenders, and he's scoring goals. Against PSG, he scored a brace. Against Union Berlin, he was man of the match. On the right, Michael Elise is pure elegance. The way he glides past defenders, the way he bends crosses with that magical left foot. He's special, and he's only 23 years old. In the number 10 role, Jamal Musiala is a genius. He's got the vision, the dribbling, the finishing. He's everything you want in a modern attacking midfielder, and under Kompany, he's flourishing. Unfortunately, he picked up an injury, but he will be back as soon as possible, eager to attend the title of being the best on the planet. And then there's Harry Kane, the man who's rewriting the record books. Kane joined Bayern in the summer of 2023 for 100 million euros, and he's been worth every penny. In his first season, he scored 44 goals in all competitions. 44. He broke Gerd Muller's Bundesliga single-season scoring record. And this season, he's somehow even better. Through the first 20 matches, Kane has 28 goals and 9 assists. 28 goals. He's on pace to score over 60 goals this season. Did you know? If Kane keeps this pace, he'll break Lionel Messi's record of 91 goals in a calendar year. That's the level he's playing at right now. But Kane isn't just a goal scorer, he's a playmaker. He drops deep, he links play, he creates chances. He's averaging 45 touches per game, which is insane for a striker. Against Hoffenheim, he scored 3 goals. Against Cologne, he scored a brace. Against Union Berlin, he scored a late equalizer. This isn't just a great striker, this is one of the best strikers in the history of football, and he's in his absolute prime. Now, let's talk about history, because what Kompany is building right now has echoes of Bayern's greatest teams. The 2012-13 treble winners under Jupp Heynckes. That team was about precision, tactical perfection. They pressed you into submission and then picked you apart with surgical passes. Arjen Robben and Frank Ribery on the wings. Bastian Schweinsteiger and Philipp Lahm controlling the midfield, and Mario Mandzukic up top, bullying defenders. That team scored 98 goals in the Bundesliga, they won the treble, and they destroyed Barcelona 7-0 on aggregate in the Champions League semi-finals. Kompany's Bayern have that same ruthlessness, that same intensity, that same ability to make great teams look ordinary. Then there's the 2019-20 team under Hansi Flick. That team was about aggression, raw power. They didn't just beat teams, they ran them over. Robert Lewandowski was unstoppable. Serge Gnabry and Kingsley Coman were terrorizing defenses, and Alphonso Davies was flying up and down the left flank like a jet. That team went unbeaten in the Champions League. They scored 43 goals in 11 matches, and they humiliated Barcelona 8-2 in the quarterfinals. Kompany's Bayern have that same attacking firepower, that same ability to score goals for fun. Harry Kane is this generation's Lewandowski. Díaz and Elise are this generation's Gnabry and Coman. But here's what makes this Bayern team even more terrifying. They've combined the precision of 2013 with the aggression of 2020. They've got the tactical intelligence and the raw power. They can control games with possession, or they can blow teams away with speed. They can press high, or they can sit back and counter. This Bayern team has no weaknesses, and that's what makes them so scary. Let's talk about the numbers, because Bayern's start to the season has been historic. 20 matches unbeaten, 19 wins, 1 draw, 0 losses. In the Bundesliga, they're sitting at the top of the table with 28 points. They've scored 35 goals and conceded just 6. Their goal difference is plus 29. The next best is plus 14. Bayern aren't just winning, they're destroying teams. Against Leipzig, they won 6-0. Against Hamburg, 5-0. Against Bremen, 4-0. Against Leverkusen, 3-0. Every week, it's the same story. Bayern dominate possession, they create chances, and they score goals. In the Champions League, it's even more impressive. They've won all 4 matches. They've scored 14 goals and conceded just 3. With Luis Díaz shining and then getting a red card for a brutal tackle on Nuno Mendes, Bayern secured a win against the current champions PSG. Against Club Brugge, they won 4-0. Against Pafos, they won 5-1. And against Chelsea, they won 3-1. Bayern are the only team in Europe's top 5 leagues that are still unbeaten in all competitions. Not Manchester City, not Real Madrid, not Liverpool, just Bayern. And here's the scary part, they're not even at full strength yet. Alphonso Davies and Jamal Musiala had been injured. Goretzka has been in and out of the lineup, and they're still winning by 4 or 5 goals every week. When this team is fully fit, when everyone's firing on all cylinders, they're gonna be unstoppable. So what's next for Bayern Munich? The schedule is about to get brutal. In the next month, they face Freiburg at home. Then they've got Arsenal, which is looking scarier than ever in the Champions League. Then they face Union Berlin in the DFB Pokal. These are the matches that will define Bayern's season. These are the matches where they'll prove whether they're just a good team or a great team. But here's the thing, Bayern aren't scared. They're not worried about the schedule. They're excited. Kompany has built a team that thrives under pressure, a team that gets better when the stakes are higher, a team that wants to face the best and prove they're the best. Against Freiburg, Bayern will press high, they'll dominate possession, and they'll score goals. Freiburg's defense is shaky, and Bayern will exploit every weakness. Against Arsenal, it'll be a battle of 2 attacking giants, but Bayern have the better system, the better pressing, the better balance, and they'll win. Against Union Berlin, it's revenge time. After the near defeat, they have to show how big of a club they are and literally destroy Union Berlin. And by the time the winter break comes, Bayern will still be unbeaten. They'll be top of the Bundesliga, they'll be top of the Champions League group, and they'll be the favorites to win both competitions. But Kompany isn't thinking about trophies yet. He's thinking about the process, about getting better every single day, about building a team that can dominate for years, not just months. And that's what makes this Bayern team so terrifying. They're not just good right now, they're building something that could define the next decade of European football. So just how terrifying is this new Bayern Munich? They're unbeaten in 20 matches. They've scored 56 goals. They've got the best attack in Europe, the best pressing in Europe, and a manager who's turning world-class players into an unstoppable machine. Vincent Kompany arrived at Bayern as a joke, a manager who got relegated, a desperate appointment. But 6 months later, he's built something that has echoes of Bayern's greatest teams. The precision of 2013, the aggression of 2020, and a hunger that's been missing for years. Harry Kane is scoring goals like he's playing on easy mode. Luis Díaz is becoming one of the best players in the world, and the defense has gone from a liability to a fortress. This isn't just a good Bayern team. This is a team that's playing football from the future, a team that's rewriting the rules, a team that's making the rest of Europe look amateur. Most clubs dream of one golden era. Bayern Munich are building their 4th, and this one might be the scariest yet. So if you're a fan of any other club in Europe, you better hope Bayern don't hit their final form anytime soon, because when they do, nobody else will even come close. If you want to see more breakdowns like this, stories about the greatest teams and managers in football history, click that video on your screen right now, and if you made it this far, drop a like and subscribe. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. I'll see you in the next one.